everyone. Thank you so much for joining me in my garden today, my food forest. I'm actually just spending some time trying to plant out some stuff in my raised bed. So this is just a video of me getting my raised bed planted out. I have a couple of things I'm going to put in, some big boy tomatoes, some plum tomatoes. I have some scallions that I grew from seed. I also have some sprouting broccoli, and I also have eggplant and eggplant plant. So just hanging out today, doing my thing. And guys, as you watch, I'm going to ask you to take some time to subscribe. I don't know if you can see my little friend here. This is one of my lizards who just come visit and hang out with me. Hi, guy. What's up? But yes, we get a lot of critters and lizards here in South Florida, 10B. But guys, I'm going to ask you to take some time to pause and subscribe to my video. I would love you to subscribe, to like, and to share my videos. If you can, please. That would be helpful as I try to grow my channel. I'm new to this, super new to this, but definitely I loved, if you watch my video about why I started, this is what I love to do. And I just figure, why not share this with others? Why not capture it? No professional here, just doing my thing and trying to learn as I grow. So today, with my tomatoes, I actually love this product. It's called Mater Magic, and it's actually great for tomatoes or any plants. It is high in nitrogen, so you want to use it when you start your plants because you want to kind of develop strong roots and green leafy vegetation. But as your plants get to the point where they're going to mature and produce fruit, you want to back off this because you want to use less nitrogen to make sure that when your plants are ready to produce fruit, they have more of the PK, because it's nitrogen, potassium, etc. You want to have more of that for fruiting vegetables. So I'll take you on my journey as I grow and plant stuff. All right, today I'm going to start with some tomatoes that I planted from seed. Guys, I really haven't had a lot of luck with planting stuff from seed, so, I learn. But in this pot, the small plot, I have about 6 big boy tomatoes. I'm not going to plant them all because that's a lot. But I'm going to put 2 in today and see how they do and kind of save the rest. And if these die, I do more. But I'm going to separate them and basically just gently pulling them apart right now. And I'm trying to get the healthiest looking ones. Let's see. This one looks pretty good. Looks to have a decent root system right now. So I'm going to pull these 2 out and go ahead and plant them. So, you're going to use a little roots and stuff. Over here, I actually have some toilet paper, the tube from the toilet paper and the paper towel. What I'm going to do is put the plant through this because I have cutworms, guys. Last year I planted some and I came out here one morning and literally something looked like it took a scissors and just cut every plant off and they all died. So I researched, as I'm always doing, and learned that if you put some protection around that stem, that young stem, you have a better chance of growing these. I also sprinkle a little diatomaceous earth around the base of the plant because this also helps the prevents the cutworms from literally chopping off your plant. So my first one going in with my little toilet paper cover, I'm actually going to sprinkle a little bit of my fertilizer, this Mater Magic fertilizer. It's organic, and just put a little bit in the hole, and that's all I'm using in terms of fertilizing right now. And then I'm going to bury this plant along with the little paper towel, tube to make sure that I prevent something from cutting these plants off and killing them. So just taking my time to make sure I don't damage the plant or break the plant as I do this. All right, looking okay. So guys, you're just gonna hear, you're just gonna sit with me today and watch me grow. No expert, but I do my thing and I try my best. And I want to see how these turn out this year because last year, I lost all my little seedlings from these little vicious cutworms that I found out later. All right, so there's one plant here. And as they get bigger, I may even go ahead and pull one out because last year I got one big boy tomato that literally covered half of my raised bed, came outside, spread about 8 feet wide. Amazing. I got a ton of tomatoes, but yeah, the plant really got big. So putting in a second one here. Oh, let me forget. Don't let me forget this little paper towel thing here. It's a little clumsy, using this paper towel thing to plant, but I would rather try and do this slowly and patiently and get these tomatoes to grow. And the good thing about these guys, the paper towel holder is biodegradable. So as the plant gets bigger, if it hasn't, dissolved from all the water you're going to use to water your plants, you can literally just cut it off or let it just disintegrate into the soil. So, all right, second tomato plant in. They're tiny. All right, let me these that are here, I'm going to put them back in a pot. Actually, I'll just grab some of the soil I have here, put them back in here, and let them continue to grow because, again, I don't know if these are going to all take. So if they don't, I'm going to have extra plants here. And if I have time, guys, I can also spread some of these plants around my yard. You'll notice that I actually will do that because I've learned that in the food forest concept, you always want to, that was a little difficult getting up. But in a food forest concept, you always want to spread your plants around to make sure they grow in different places. Actually, here's another really healthy looking one. So I thought I was going to do two guys, but I'm going to go ahead and do three. So let me grab this nice, big looking healthy one. Just separate it a little from the rest. Leave the others in here to continue growing. And I'm going to put this one over here. So, anywhere they come up, it would be good. And then I can pull out or reposition some of them in other parts of my yard. So again, this little paper towel holder, put in my plant through it, my fertilizer in the ground, and then just go ahead and pack in some dirt. And guys, I'm going to water in everything when I'm done, nice and wet. So there you go, my third tomato plant. And this is a very small raised bed. I would say 8x4. My little lizard's still hanging out with me. So I put a ton of stuff in here. I literally plant a lot of stuff in here because the tightly packed they are, literally the better these plants will grow. They will cover the soil surface and basically produce with less water as you're going through planting and growing. All right, this is my eggplant. Let me grab a little fertilizer here. Put that in the hole as well. And guys, I actually bought this eggplant at one of the big box stores. The reason Every single year I plant eggplant, they don't do well. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but this year I decided I'm not going to grow from seed. I'm going to go try planting a plant and seeing how it grows. So let me bury this a little bit more fertilizer. I get it down a little deeper so it really develops good root structure. So this is my eggplant, and these plants will spread wide. So guys, I now have kind of 3 tomatoes, my eggplant here, and then I'm going to put in actually the sprouting broccoli. And this plant, guys, gets huge. Last year I did super well with these. I planted them from seed, direct sow into the soil. I decided to just start them indoors a little bit early this year to see how they do. But here you go. I'm going to put in one of my sprouting broccoli on this side and just see how it does. I'm just putting in one for now. I have a couple of plants, but as I mentioned, they get huge. And I want to make sure they have, it's tightly packed together, but I want to make sure they have some room to grow and develop as well. So far, I also have some onions, or actually there's scallions that I planted from seed. And I'm actually going to throw some around because this, guys, will help some pest control as well. As they're growing, they help to protect pests from getting into your garden. So, I mean, onions don't need a lot of space, right, to grow. So I'm just going to throw a couple in on the side here and keep them watered. I don't necessarily need fertilizer in here because my soil already is pretty nutritious. If that's the right word for soil, nutritious. Well, basically I'm saying I added a ton of, worm casting, blood meal, and a couple of this. And I'm using in this raised bed, my soil from my compost. So all the soil that I created from my compost, pretty much used up, mixing it with some other types of soil as I'm trying to, fill this raised bed, making sure that I have different options for how I get my soil. All right, a couple more scallions. They're pretty tight together. There's probably about 25 to 30 small plants in here. And as you can see, I'm putting them pretty close. As the season go on, I'm going to go ahead and bring in lettuce, some kohlrabi, and other things like that. So let me throw a couple more of these onions around. Sorry, I keep saying onions. They're scallions. Let me throw a couple of them around. All right. Let's see. Maybe 2 more. They're tiny, but they're pretty resilient. Scallions are pretty resilient. And you know how you plant these guys. When you buy the scallions at the store, just clip off the roots and plant them in your soil and they'll grow. And you just, as you use them, you cut off the top, leave the roots in place, and they will just keep coming back. So scallions is definitely a nice one to just consistently grow. All right, let's see. I think I'm done for today. It's pretty hot out, so I'm not going to spend more time here. I'll continue to put in stuff, and as it develops and grows, I'll show you what I do in my garden and how I plant. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you when I put more stuff in here. Bye for now. Continuing to add some more stuff to my raised bed. I had put in some tomatoes and eggplant and sprouting broccoli. Today I'm going to add some different types of lettuce. So I got these lettuce from a friend of mine. She grows them hydroponically. So when she gives me lettuce, I literally just save the roots, the plants with the root, and then I go ahead and stick these into some soil. Sometimes they're successful, sometimes they're not. But guess what, guys? Nothing beats a free plant if you can start it and kind of work it through growing on its own. So putting in, I think this one is called curly leaf lettuce. So I'm just throwing them kind of all over my garden in different spots in my raised bed, sorry. So just kind of putting them in. You know, today was a little warm here in South Florida, and it is a little warm for planting lettuce, but I'm hoping that they will be able to survive whatever little heat. Guys, I literally moved a little pot from out of here, and you should see the amount of life in the soil in terms of worms and stuff started scurrying away. Worms and ants and all kinds of things. So just putting in these, seeing how they grow. I've done it before and they did okay. By the way, I did come in and put in some seeds for kohlrabi. So kohlrabi, they're pretty much close together right now, but I'm going to space them out. Once they get growing, I'll kind of pull them up and plant them in different areas of the raised bed or even different areas of the garden. So just continuing to put in some of these again. I hope I'm successful in getting them to grow, but you know, we'll see. Pulling off some of those roots and hopefully the roots that's left will grow and produce. So here's some right here. I think this one was a red leaf curly lettuce, it's called. So we'll see how that one does. You know, let's see. This looks like a little bit of a romaine lettuce. You can see, guys, the roots, a little bit of soil, but still they were grown hydroponically. So what I've learned is that because they were grown in water, I literally have to come out every day and water them, helping them adjust to kind of growing in soil. So last year when I did this, I mean, a good amount of them did grow and come up. Actually, I'm going to go over here and throw some in this corner because I want them all over. If the tomatoes do what they normally do, these lettuce will be buried because the tomato, that one plant, big boy tomato I planted last year, I mean, exploded. It was everywhere. It grew so well in my garden. But I did baby it, spray it with neem oil for the pest. A lot of blood meal to make sure it had enough nitrogen and established strong roots. This one is pretty big. Just has a couple coming off. But you know, guys, you can plant from seeds, but like I said, why not? If you can get this to grow with roots already established, why not? All right, put it in this one here. And we'll see how they do. All right, kind of packing the dirt around this. It's probably going to grow a little bit lean. So I'll continue to kind of spread these out around the garden. And it's getting a little bit darker here because it's the fall season in South Florida. So I barely have time to leave work and get out here in the evenings because it's getting so dark so quick. All right. As you can see, guys, I'm just randomly putting these all over. This is a pretty dry spot right here. I want to make sure I keep this watered so this can take root and grow. All right, I have 2 more. So I'm going to put these in, take a few minutes to figure out where I want them. And then I'll continue adding stuff. I'm going to put in some seeds for arugula. I love arugula. It's like one of my favorite lettuces. Some people really don't like it, but I love the taste. I use it on my homemade pizzas. I use it in all my salads. Yeah, I'm a true arugula girl. Actually, this one has too many roots here. I'm going to pull some off. It looks like it has a nice tap root though. You know what? That tomato probably going to get really big. Let me see. Yeah, why not? As I mentioned, I really pack everything into this bed. And when they grow nice and full, it really conserves the water because they're so close together. And that actually is very helpful for me, not having to come out here and keep watering or having to turn on this little sprinkler system in the bed to keep them watered. All right, guys, I have 1 more left. So thank you for joining me. I'll come back again with more stuff that I want to put in, and we'll just grow together and see how this all goes. Have a wonderful time. Happy planting. Grow something today. Bye.